This is a simple explanation of climate change based on the article in the New York Times. Let's talk about climate change. What is climate change? People are calling it as a crisis in our time, and it is a crisis. So, what is exactly are we doing wrong and how do we fix it? Hi everyone, my name is Thalia Oktariani Putri and I'm a student at LSPR Communication and Business Institute, and I'm also Sir Charles Bonar Sirait student in subject public speaking and presentation skill. So today I'm going to talk about climate change. Okay, so we're going to kick this off with some basic science. So bear with me because this is important. So the average temperature on the surface of the planet already increased by 1.7 degrees since 1880. The heat from human emissions is roughly equal to 400,000 Hiroshima atomic bombs exploding across the planet every single day. If emissions continue to rise unchecked, the climate disaster will be severe and they will destabilize entire nations. Scientists say there's a 95% chance that human activity is the cause. We've been burning more and more fossil fuels like oil and coal, which release CO2 to power our homes, factories, airplanes, and cars. There's also a lot of more of us. The global population has tripled in the past 70 years, and we're still consuming more products from animals that release another pollutant called methane. So all of those gases are in the air, and when the sunlight gets into the Earth's atmosphere, some of the heat gets trapped and the planets get warmer. That's why they call it the greenhouse effect. But the concern is not that the Earth is. Science says that right now our world is about 1 degree hotter than pre-industrial times, which is okay. In fact, the US says if we warm by 1.5 degrees before the end of the century, we should be fine. And then the UN says even 2 degrees would probably be alright. But again, the problem is speed. Because right now we are on track to hit 1.5 degrees in only 10 years. If we slow that warming down, it could mean catastrophe within my lifetime and maybe yours too. And we're already getting taste. So climate change is here. Climate change is happening. We are well into the 6th mass extinction event. Europe is currently colder than the Arctic. More than 1,000 people are being rescued.
Europe is currently colder than the Arctic.
More than 1,000 people being rescued just in the early morning hours of Sunday.
Millions of people are likely to suffer worsening food and water shortages. Drought, which is now in its 10th year, is a phenomena that's here to stay.
We've never seen a year's worth of rain in less than 7 days.
And then the worst thing is sea levels are rising about 3 millimeters a year because seawater expands as temperatures gets warmer. Melting ice sheets and glaciers also add trillions of tons of fresh water into our oceans. People around the world are already losing their homes, and if these things carry on, millions more of us will have to pack up too. Entire coastal cities will be underwater within 80 years. Like Miami in the US or Osaka in Japan. Entire island nations in the Pacific could completely disappear. Now, there's a plan to slow these things down. Back in 2016, world leaders signed the agreement called Paris Agreement, and the big pledge is to cap temperature by rising by 5.5 degrees or a maximum of 2 degrees. So countries set their own targets on how much CO2 they emit. But here's the thing, 10 years after that agreement, global CO2 levels are still going up. In some ways, we're going backwards. And the US, as one of the world's biggest polluters, has pulled out the Paris deal. Russia and China are accused of not giving themselves ambitious targets in the first place. Turkey and Poland want to build more power plants that use coal, and then there's the skeptics. On the other hand, there's positive momentum where there's more awareness and some countries are making progress. Like India, Morocco, and the Gambia have massive renewable energy project, but experts say what's needed now is an even bigger push to change everything about the world, about the way we run the world. So where does that leave us? Well, there's only so much bike riding and light bulb replacing you and I can do every day. But the truth is, there is those everyday things that are going to change anyway. Considering that we've been ignoring scientists' warning since the 80s to limit emissions, we're pretty late in the game. But we finally reached a moment where nearly every country in the world agrees this is a huge problem and seems ready to commit taking at least some kind of actions. Leading corporations will continue to make bold promises to do their part. Low emissions technology will improve, and many states and cities will go further than any goal set by their national government. The United States, as the world's biggest economy, is finally starting to move aggressively, and China, as the world's largest emitter, is beginning to recognize that it needs to do the same, as many of the metallicities will be underwater in the seas rise too high. So guys, our future generations are in big trouble, but for now, it will continue to get warmer and storms will grow more intense with longer periods of drought in between. So the conclusion is that it's down to all of us to change our ways and shake things up, or climate change is going to do it for us. The businesses are usual has got to change. Politics as usual has got to change too. And in order to combat that, we have to change the system that has allowed it to happen. You can't even have infinite growth in a finite planet, and everyone can do that by shifting to renewable energy, by reducing the use of cars, use trains more, cycle more, eat less meat, consume a bit more, and be careful.